What's up, y'all? Shook here, back with another video on the Holy Paladin, queuing some 2v2 with Plum on his Death Knight. Actually queuing the mains for once, or at least we tried. We we had two games before this, and they were both against the rank 1 team, so the rank 1 team on the 2's ladder, and it was a Fury Warrior and a Preservation Evoker, and we didn't win either of them. So we went from like 2350 MMR to it dropped us like 100 MMR, which is kind of crazy, considering they were like 2450. And then we got this team right here, and I was playing the Lightsmith build during our queues. I think maybe one of them I played Lightsmith, and then I played Herald of the Sun the second time we faced the rank 1 team. And neither one really made that big of a difference because it's just not a good matchup. Like Fury Warrior into Unholy Decay is just a really bad matchup for us. So this was the team that we fought after the 2 losses, and I took Eye for an Eye. I've been taking Eye for an Eye versus any class that like strikes a bunch. Like if they benefit from Authority of the Depths, then I try and take it versus those teams. So like Outlaw Rogues, Demon Hunters, Fury Warriors, stuff like that, I'll usually take Eye for an Eye. I definitely don't take it versus casters. I think that's kind of troll. Like there is that PvP talent that makes it to where you can use it versus casters, but it's never been really that great for me against really any of them. So right here, basically the goal is to win in dampening versus dragons. Like their output is going to be higher than mine. It also means that they are more affected by dampening because they don't have a ton of externals. I do juke the Demon Hunter there, and it looks like Plum is getting a ton of pressure, so we're actually winning on mana at this point instead of waiting for the dampening, which is normally how it goes. But it looks like this is the second meta for the Demon Hunter here, so for the next like 23 seconds he's going to be really dangerous. I'm going to Hodge the Preservation Evoker here. He is going to trinket that. He's going to cage Plum, pop Blur, so you're going to kind of see me run away for a second. I'm going to give the Holy Armament to Plum. It's also going to give it to me, and need to be kind of mindful of my Awakening stacks at the moment, because Wings has another like 30 seconds or so, and we're both kind of dipping a little bit here. I do have Lay on Hands, I do have Bubble, so we're not worried about me necessarily like going down, but I just have to be mindful of my cooldowns at this point. So we're coming up on the second Blessing of Summer, which can be really good. I'm going to go ahead and give it to myself instead of Plum, so we have extra damage instead of healing, and it looks like I'm trying to kind of juke here. Have Wings available, and I'm going to go ahead and pop it here to hopefully pick us up. You can see we are still winning on mana. I have the other Holy Armament available, and I do go ahead and use it. Kind of questionable on that one. I probably could have held it, but I don't know. Sometimes it can do some increased healing. We are getting up to a decent bit of dampening. I'm going to go ahead and pop this Eye for an Eye. It looks like I have max stacks on my Consecration as well, so I need to go ahead and use Consecration here, just because you can't stack it up past 5. So, I don't know. Really looks like maybe I just don't notice at this point. It's probably worth something that is like have a weak aura for. So I choose Bubble here over Lay on Hands. Lay on Hands being the more impactful cooldown for Plum, kind of later in the match, because it isn't affected by dampening. So really huge cooldown in 2s. He cages Plum, so he can't get any kind of healing. Probably should have kicked the dragon right there instead of running to where I was running to. Looks like this is another meta. Yep. So for the next 23 seconds, we're gonna have to be scared. We only have Lay on Hands at this point, so you can see a lot of pressure coming out here, and we are almost back equal with mana. He does get Nullifying Shroud up, so that's kind of unfortunate. Definitely could have made some better kicks this game for sure. Kind of trying to juke here, see if I can get one of their kicks for precog. I do go ahead and trinket that, even though it was a super short stun, just because we're getting to the point where I'm going to go down if I sit any kind of CC. He does cage me here. Plum pops IBF as soon as I get caged. I do have sack available if I want to go ahead and sack Plum, but it's not going to do a whole lot. So I'll go ahead and give him Blessing of Protection. Looks like Plum strangulated the Preservation Evoker. I use the Blessing of Spring here. He's pretty much completely out of mana. I've got 5 seconds on wings. Can probably recover at that point. Do have Hodge back available. I'm going to go ahead and pop wings immediately and use the Hodge. I don't have Judgment just yet. Or actually it was targeting his pet. So kind of unfortunate there. Do go ahead and use Judgment. Starting to pick us up a little bit here. Gonna get around the corner. Judgment coming off cooldown, and this should technically be the game, but it looks like he immuned the Holy Armament with that Vanish, so that's kind of unfortunate. Trying to Judgment this guy and hit him with Hammer of Wrath. He dodges it because he has Blur going. Here comes the big I-Beam. Both of us are almost completely and we do take down the dragon. And so at this point we were like, okay, what's this MMR? And they were like 70 MMR below us even after the 2 losses. So we just decided, all right, we're not going to queue on the mains anymore. It's just not worth it. So I swapped to the alt Paladin, and then Plum said he logged off basically, and Sorgal asked if I wanted to Q2s. So we decided to run some Enhance Holy Pally, and I'm running Herald of the Sun with this. So it's a little bit lower MMR, like 2100-ish MMR. But there were definitely a lot more queues at 2100 than there were at 22 and 2300. One thing about this comp is Enhance just, I don't know, it's just kind of okay in 2s. Like for reference, top 10 enhancement shamans in 2v2 in the world is like 1976. So we were queuing this comp at a pretty high MMR compared to what it's normally played at. And again, like I've been saying in all these past videos, the season's really, really deflated. Normally, like all these teams would be at a higher rating, especially this far into the season. But it's just super deflated right now. I really want to, versus this Outlaw Rogue, keep my distance away from the Holy Paladin. Like and Sorgal, I don't want to stack so he can cleave on both of us. You see me get the juke there, and he's gonna swap off. The Pally gets knocked to me, so I'm gonna Hodge him, but I didn't realize he was DR'd on stun. So that's kind of unfortunate. I thought I was gonna be able to turn around and hit him with a Repent. Looks like he's trying to Searing Glare. I'm gonna dispel Sorgal, or actually I use Bop there because I saw the Repent coming. So just another one where I can utilize my kick a lot better. Just, I don't know, maybe a little rusty, having not played in like a month or so. Just better decision makings with kicks and stuff like that. So this guy is running the Lightsmith build. That's what I was running in the first game. I don't know which one I think is really better for 2v2. I do think Lightsmith is better for 3v3, but in 2v2 I've had games where I have taken Herald of the Sun to like 90% dampening, and that's kind of like, I don't know, it just doesn't get much better than that. So right here, I'm going to go for the full Repent. I do get the full Repent on the Pally. We get the Cloak from the Rogue. I need to go ahead and Freedom Sorgal because he just can't hit the Rogue. So good heads up play by the Rogue, just kind of running away while his Pally was in the full CC. This Rogue team, I don't know, one, it's a better comp, but they played really well, honestly. I think one thing we probably could have done differently, well, I probably should have played the Lightsmith build versus them, but I didn't know how they were going to play exactly. And I need to be going for drinks like constantly versus this team. So like whenever I got the full Repent, I probably should have just ran away and gone for the drink instead of trying to put pressure up, because the Rogue ran away anyway. So right here I juke the Rogue again, and I'm going to go ahead and taunt myself, but he does stun me right before precog ends, so that was kind of unfortunate. Here's my Bop. They do not have an offensive Dispel, so it makes Blessing of Protection really powerful versus this team. So normally I want to save it, juke the Rogue again, get precog again, and I'm trying to kind of pick myself up. Pally wants to come over here and kick me. I need to go ahead and get Tears Deliverance up. It looks like they realize that, and they are trying to stop me at all costs. So you can see there he blinds me to stop my Tears Deliverance cast. I can bubble here, and that's probably going to be what ends up having to happen. Yeah, I do go ahead and bubble to cast Tears Deliverance. We are unfortunately still behind on mana. We don't have a Mortal Strike. Like I've said that in previous videos when I've played Enhance. It's not having a Mortal Strike in 2s is really, really like troll. Like that's why every single one of the top 2v2 comps has a Mortal Strike. So BM Hunter, you know, Outlaw Rogues, Fury Warriors, like all of them have a Mortal Strike effect, is what I should say. It's probably a little bit confusing for those that aren't, you know, haven't played for a long time. What I'm talking about is a healing debuff effect. It's normally called an MS effect. So right here, it looks like we do get a really good Counter-Strike totem down. It does a ton of damage before they kill it, so that was kind of huge for us. We do get the Paladin's bubble. I probably should have popped my wall there. It looks like I'm popping it here. You can see him doing damage to himself a little bit with the Eye for an Eye. On average, Eye for an Eye versus Outlaw Rogues and Demon Hunters was doing like about 4 million-ish damage per match, which is pretty decent. I found it to have more value than the other choice, which is the Flash of Light healing increase. So right here, I'm going to go for a drink. What I was trying to do with that Searing Glare, I want to hodge the rogue, and then as the pally goes for the Dispel, I hit the rogue with the Searing Glare, so he has to, you know, sit a full CC one way or the other, or even like a half CC and then a full CC. So that can be a really powerful play, especially in 2s. In 3s is a lot harder to make that work. I do need to cast Tears Deliverance. I have a Blessing of Protection back up. I'm going to go ahead and use Blessing of Protection, cast the Tears Deliverance, and you can see we're at really heavy dampening at this point. I have caught up on mana with that drink. I'm going to go ahead and hodge the Paladin. We do get his trinket. It looks like Sorgal is using the both totems here, and he was going for the Repent, which I don't know. Right there, that was probably a really bad decision. But yeah, we ended up getting the win, so this is a really tough win for us. This is also another tough win against another Demon Hunter Preservation Evoker team. We can win whenever we're playing, you know, the Unholy DK, like me and Plum playing Unholy DK, Holy Valley, but Enhance Holy Valley just is way, way worse. Even though Unholy DK doesn't have that traditional Mortal Strike effect, they are still like better in dampening. They just have more ways to kind of peel, let me get drinks, and I don't know, just overall they're just better in 2s. They're definitely not like the top 2 spec, but it's still much better than this, which I think kind of speaks for itself whenever, you know, top 10 enhances like it's not even 2k, which is kind of crazy. So right here again, like I said in the previous matchup of this, all we want to do is kind of win in dampening, because dragons are mostly healing output and damage output. They don't have a lot of externals, so really it's all about just kind of staying alive until their healing just doesn't do anything anymore. Most of the time you're not going to win the mana battle, and you're going to have to be going for drinks, especially if they can cast Disintegrate a lot. It looks like they caged Sorgal there. He does shear the sleep. One thing we can do, we can Tremor the sleep, which is kind of nice, and we can also Tremor the Demon Hunter sphere. I'm just trying to pull this Demon Hunter in awkward positions. I don't want to be in line of him and the Preservation at the same time. So Preservation blinked there and dispelled the Demon Hunter, and he got the kick on me. So I'm just going to kind of hard cast it here. I probably could have juked that, and it may cost me my Lay on Hands here. Oh, it looks like I choose to bubble instead. So, I don't know. Sometimes, if it's early enough in the match, you want to Lay on Hands instead of bubble, because you can actually get it off cooldown. So right here, Sorgal's getting dangerously low. I was trying to get a little bit of a drink. I do run out and Lay on Hands him. He was trying to stop my Lay on Hands by banishing him, but he was a little bit too slow. So that was almost the game right there. But I was trying to catch up on mana with the dragon to make sure we could ride into dampening, because again, that's kind of our win condition. So now we have no bubble, no Lay on Hands. Looks like we have Counter-Strike down here for a second, so I was kind of letting him stand in that for a second, but I don't want to face tank him too hard. He's going to walk back here to me. I don't have Hodge available. Looks like Sorgal's rooted, so we weren't in Discord, so I needed to give him freedom there or dispel him, and I guess I just didn't notice at the time. Still have a Blessing of Protection available, but Demon Hunters do a lot of chaos damage, so it's not super useful versus them. Just a lot of magic damage from the Demon Hunter and the Preservation Evoker. But I can use it as damage reduction, which I've said before. So it looks like here I wasn't running Eye for an Eye. I don't know what I took over that. Maybe the healing increase from like the blessings, I'm not sure. But probably, again, after I tested it a little bit more, I think it's definitely worth it having it over the extra healing of the Flash of Light. Just because, you know, it averaged out to be about like 4 million damage. So right here, I'm going to go ahead and use a Blessing of Protection. It looks like they use Darkness and Blur and everything. Using a Bob on me too, so I'm playing like hyper aggressive here. I don't know. Looks like, I don't know, dampening's not really high enough for me to be doing that. I don't know. That was probably a misplay on my part. Again, a little bit rusty. We haven't queued in quite a while, just because there were no queues to be had. Like every time we were on, even during prime time, the twos matches were just really slow. It was like the same team over and over again. It just wasn't fun. So we've been queuing a lot more BG Blitz and threes. Like we queued some threes for the first time the other day. Threes felt a little bit more alive than twos, but even then it feels, I don't know, the most dead I've ever seen it, at least. So right here we are behind on mana and behind on cooldowns, so it's looking a little grim at this point, but Enhance does have, you know, high damage potential, and he does take down the Preservation Evoker. I either think he ran out of cooldowns or he just didn't anticipate Sorgal doing that much burst, and it ended up getting us the win. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed these matches. If you're new here, be sure to subscribe, drop a like. I'm excited for Season 2 of The War Within, and I will be much more active once Season 2 hits. And yeah, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.